Hey everyone, it's Dr. K. We know static stretching is promoted by, trainers, coaches, doctors, especially people on social media as being this integral part of a training session. They say it provides benefits like improving your performance or preventing your injuries or reducing delayed onset muscle soreness post-exercise. I'm here to tell you that's basically a load of crap. The scientific evidence doesn't promote or support any of that. In fact, static stretching has been found to lead to an acute loss of strength and power. And that's why you should really think about, not performing those things prior to strength training in the gym, running activities, biking, or playing your favorite sport. I had a great client in my office yesterday who teaches youth athletes how to play soccer really, really well. In our discussion, we realized he's promoting static stretching as part of his warm-up prior to practicing. Now, these are just kids learning fundamentals of the sport. They're developing confidence in themselves, they're developing their skill set, and they're having a really good time. But, their soccer coach, who is a semi-professional soccer player, is promoting the wrong thing. And I know he cares about these kids and their performance. He's conscious of performing at his best on his own. He's an animal. But somewhere along the way, during his professional development, someone promoted and taught him that static stretching should be part of his warm-up. And I'm telling you, that person was like 30 years behind the research curve. Now, we're talking specifically about static stretching here. We're not talking about a dynamic warm-up or dynamic stretching, and I need to be specific. Dynamic and active warm-up sequence prior to activity, that is a fundamental. That's body prep for performance and injury prevention. You need to be thinking about the movements you're getting ready to perform at a higher difficulty level, and you need to warm up actively to reduce the risk of injury with those activities. But the reviews are showing static stretching doesn't reduce muscle soreness, doesn't prevent injury, really has no long-term benefit for you. If you're static stretching before activity, then you're potentially actually leaving performance on the floor. You could be doing other things that are more valuable with your training time than static stretching. Now, if you want to keep static stretching, in part of your recovery at night, I think that's appropriate. Your muscles have a length-tension relationship, and there's also, a density that we have to account for in terms of how tough, the muscles and connective tissue really are, how well they're sliding and gliding. So if you wanted to account for, the length-tension relationship, static stretching can help, change that in a positive way. But usually people don't do static stretching correctly or long enough to actually achieve the goals they're reaching for. And, that's time for a whole other post on guidelines for that we can go down that road. But until then, I want you to really take a look at your own training, what you're doing prior to activity. Make sure it's movement specific, that's dynamic, that you're doing, and whether it's you're gonna run or you're gonna do something else in the gym, right? If you're running, you wanna do a warm-up that looks like running. You're doing hip flexion, you're extending your hip, you're moving your knee back and forth, you're getting some sort of active component at your ankles. If you're lifting, deadlifting, same kind of idea, right? But save the static stretching for recovery at night. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a text or an email to let me know how it's working for you, how it's improving not only your performance but also your recovery in the long term. I'm celebrating your success already. Stay strong, inspire others.